Let's stop the waiting though. We have a long episode to get ahead of us, Brett. We have some NFL, some college football, NBA, college basketball has now started, some NHL, UFC's coming up this weekend. We have a ton to talk about. We're going to jump into the NFL. We got Thursday night football going on as you and I are recording, so we're not going to talk about the Ravens-Dolphins. And Brett, I'd actually like to talk about something else that happened this week. OBJ, officially no longer a Cleveland Brown, cleared waivers, signed by the Rams reportedly on Thursday. It doesn't change the futures options for a Super Bowl champion, though, and the Rams have seemed to stay pretty much the same everywhere. They're plus 800 here in Oregon, plus 750 at some other books that I've seen. I don't know if I can pull the trigger on that, but the Rams have added Von Miller and OBJ. They're definitely pushing their chips in this season.
Yeah, chips are going to the middle of the table for sure. I think Von Miller probably a more impactful signing than OBJ. OBJ, could still be great at some point. Again, we'll see. But if he was playing great this season, Higgins, he would have been on a roster, not on free agency. So, look, I root for OBJ. I want him to succeed, but I think we're more so talking about this because, of the name of the player, what the player's done in the past more so than what he's doing over the last year and a half here. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, and I think OBJ's impact on that offense, honestly, the biggest impact it could have is on what Cooper Kupp's numbers are going to end up being. There's been a lot of talk in the historic season he's having this year. What does bringing OBJ in to be the trio to the Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods wideouts do for that team? Matthew Stafford has to be happy to have another asset, Brett. Let's take a look at Sunday's games, though. And there's one game that I'm surprised I'm kind of finding myself on it. But Jacksonville, they did get a win last week. They are coming off a 9-6 win against Buffalo. Buffalo's a pretty talented team. And they're traveling into Indianapolis. It's a divisional game. And the line's at plus 10. I always love these division games when they're multi-scores like this at plus 10. And I also learned another interesting nugget. Carson Wentz's wife could very well potentially be delivering his baby on Sunday. Carson Wentz has already said he's going to play, but who knows what that means in terms of where his mind could be or anything like that in terms of how his preparation has been this week leading up to Jacksonville. Meanwhile, you have Urban Meyer leading a young squad of Jacksonville Jaguars coming off of a win like that. I think they got to be riding high. They have to have a successful week of practice here, and who knows, they could come in. I don't know if they're going to win, but plus 10, I got to grab that.
Yeah, I think, that's a fair take, Higgins. I don't really have any great read into this game, so I will be rooting for the Jacksonville Jaguars to cover that 10 for you, because we need you to beat the book, baby.
Absolutely, and it's an interesting AFC South right now. I mean, Derrick Henry's injury brought the Titans to a little bit of a stumble, but they got a clear lead in that AFC South. The other three teams, though, they're kind of fighting the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, well, Titans won their first game without Derrick Henry, so we'll see if they can keep it rolling. One game I'm looking at, Higgins, Panthers versus Cardinals. It seems less and less likely each and every day Kyler Murray's going to play this week. So I could be looking at two backup quarterbacks here, Higgins, and I'm going to hop in on this 45.5 early. I'm going to take the under. I think it probably goes down maybe another point, maybe another 2 points. I do think the books have baked in a little bit of the fact that Kyler is still questionable at this point. So I don't think, this is a full Kyler Murray line here. I do think, though, I'm getting a little bit benefit of the doubt because I don't think it's a full Colt McCoy line either. I don't think the books know which quarterback's starting. They probably middled it somewhere, and I'll take that middle number before it gets a little bit lower on Sunday because that's just my belief. I think Murray probably misses this week.
You said that, but you didn't bring up the other quarterback that's going to be playing. Your boy from the XFL, PJ Walker's the starter this week for the Panthers, who also just signed back Cam Newton. Should be an interesting dynamic there in Carolina, I think.
Yeah, well, Cam will have no effect this week.
Oh,
My
absolutely
my
not.
guess is James Morgan will be the backup quarterback for the Panthers this week. But yeah, obviously moving forward, Cam is something for us to keep our eye on. But yeah, I briefly mentioned it, Higgins. I said two backup quarterbacks is what I'm expecting, so that's why I'm going under.
Okay, okay. There's another line, Brett, that I don't know if it's a trap game or what, but it raised a flag to me. I mean, the Broncos, they're hosting the Eagles this week in Denver. And the Broncos are coming off of a fantastic win over the Dallas Cowboys where they just absolutely dominated that game. And now they're less than 3-point favorites to the Philadelphia Eagles, and I don't buy it. I don't buy it. The Eagles, they Jordan Howard is their running back now because Miles Sanders is injured. Jordan Howard, a familiar name in Philadelphia, but still surprising in their backfield. I don't buy this Eagles offense that's been battered up and has been injured to be able to do much against that secondary or against that Broncos defense. I'm going to be taking the Broncos minus 2.5 here. Absolutely.
All right. I guess I probably, if I was to get on this game, Higgins, I'd be looking on the other side. But I'm staying away from this game right now. Not really one that interests me too much. Playing at Denver's always tough, so I think it's fair to favor the home team when. I don't think either of these teams is so great, to be honest. I think Denver has a lot more weapons on the outside. I think Philly probably has the more dynamic quarterback. So, just a stay away game for me. But again, I like when you win because I like when people beat the books, Higgins. So,
That's what we're trying to do here.
you may be flipping me. I may be rooting for Denver in this one now.
All right. Well, Denver already has 2 straight wins against the NFC East. I think they're going to make it a three-peat, 3 straight weeks beating the NFC East. Get a nice little 3-game win streak going.
All right, fair enough. Well, the last game we will touch on here, the Browns take on the Patriots, the OBJ-less Browns, the Nick Chubb-less Browns, the Demetric Felton-less Browns, I think the third running back's out as well, John Kelly. So it's like Dearness Johnson, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Baker Mayfield. Look, I think the Browns-Patriots game could be a close game, could be a really exciting game, but this is not a game I expect to be played in the 20s, Higgins. This is a game I'm looking at to be played in the teens. Two teams that want to run the ball, play conservative football, win with their defense. So give me the under 45.5 on this one, Higgins.
2 unders for you this weekend in the NFL. I like it, Brett. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, we talk some slander on the unders here, but I think you and I are trying to start wise enough, start picking our spots that the right unders are.
You know what, Higgins? There were some lines that intrigued me. Like, I could see Buffalo bouncing back, right? Because all the Mike White hype. I could see the Falcons covering 9 points against Dallas. Maybe Dallas is starting to show their true colors. Maybe they're not that 6-1 team from the beginning of the year. Although Dallas gets Michael Gallup back, so like their offense improves. There's a lot of moving parts this week, I think. So I'm staying away from the spreads. We don't know about Aaron Rodgers' status yet. We haven't seen Russell Wilson play in weeks. Like, that's a matchup, right? The Steelers' wide receivers, they might be down Chase Claypool. So now it's like, oh, well, can Detroit cover 8? There's so many injuries, so many COVID things going on in the NFL this week, Higgins. I think the over-unders caught my eye more so than the spreads.
Okay, I'm gonna be keeping my eye out as we get closer to Sunday. You mentioned a bunch with some injury game time decisions, some COVID news that we're still waiting on with Aaron Rodgers and some other guys. I'll be on some more games by Sunday. Make sure to follow us on our social media where we'll be posting some other picks between now and our next episode. That's at MBB Pod on Twitter, at Next Best Bet on Instagram, and the Next Best Bet Facebook page and YouTube channel.